Flosstube friends. My name's Lorraine and you're at my channel Shanebrookcottage. Welcome. Hello, welcome back and welcome to the new subscribers. My last two videos really hit a chord and we have some new friends on here, so thank you so much for joining. This is going to be a regular Flosstube with all the usual shenanigans. I have some whips that I've been working on. I did it. I finally did it. I made bags. So I have some bags that I made that I wanted to share with you guys. I have some other quilting type sewing projects that I've been working on, and I have haul. I also, in addition to my regular acquisition of cross stitch and quilting supplies, I also have the things I picked up on my vintage treasure hunt that I shared with you guys last week. So I have those things to share with you, and just some news, some stitching news and updates and questions I have for you guys. So I did write a couple notes. I don't know where I put them. Let me look for a second. Oh, here they are. Not many notes, you know me, I like to fly by the seat of my pants, but there's a couple things I wanted to remember to talk about. So let's start with my cross stitch whips. So if I have a photo, I'm going to insert it here of where I was at, and this is where I'm at now. I think this was a night and a half. So I finished the red hen, or the white hen. I added sticks to my flagpole. I started the black hen or rooster, and there was a bumblebee in here that I removed. I didn't feel like it went, like my stitching didn't look so good, and I don't know. To me, it didn't look quite like a bumblebee, so I took it out. And so that's where I'm at. This is a Plum Street. It's on 14 count, because that's my jam, and it's Hen Peck. So I guess they're both hens, not a rooster, both hens. And this is in one of my older project bags that I made a year or two ago. So there's that. I'm going to keep working on Patriotic because I just started in July. And I'm not doing Christmas in July, at least with cross stitch. One of the projects I'm working on has a little bit of a Christmas theme to it, so you'll see that. The other cross stitch, this is a really beautiful bag that I did not make, and the maker didn't put a tag on it, so I apologize. I don't know who made it, and they lined it with this pretty strawberry fabric. So this one was a start many times, a start, a restart. So this is Crocetta Go-Go, Miss Lady Bug. My eldest granddaughter is Elena, and she's called Lady Bugs. I got a needle and thread. That's how I roll, folks. So here it is, and I'm really happy with it. This was started and restarted many times because I was like not happy with my fabric, not happy with my floss choice. So I went to the old time tried and true. I believe this was like a 14 count fiddler's cloth that I dirtied up with some vintage spray. And then the colors are close to the called for, if not the called for. So, yep. So I worked on this maybe another night and a half. I worked on this. I got all of the girls started, and I could have kept going on her. That was so much fun to stitch. but I knew that I needed to, I brought the seine all the way over, and then I started coming down this side, and I totally misjudged my fabric. I'm not centered at all on it, but it's gonna work out. So that's super cute. I'm really happy with that. And then the other stitch that I worked on, well, I have two more. Well, one more whip and then one more new start that's a whip now. This one here, I'll insert a picture of where I was at. Again, needle and thread hanging. This is Hands-On Design, Knee High by the 4th of July. And boy, this is going to be, let me show you, this is going to be the flag that I'm working on at the bottom. So I'm really close. And this is fun. This is so much fun. I just got going on that pattern and I couldn't stop. I sat out on the porch one evening and worked on it, and that was really nice. And yeah, it's still blazing hot here. I'm in Pennsylvania, if you're new around here. Super, super hot, followed with thunderstorms, flash flood warnings, but there's no flooding where I live. Very sad about Texas, and just everywhere. It just sounds like everyone's just having a miserable summer right now. So we won't talk about sad stuff. But then my new start, my 4th of July start, is One Nation, which I was inspired by Nancy, the Disorderly Stitcher, to start, because she's working on hers. And oh, talk about another fun stitch. On my blanket, look at this. This is my 14 count vintage country mocha. It's gonna be ginormous. And there I am. So the states will be stitched in the patterns written with the states in the order that they became part of the Union. I think New Jersey is state number 3. I'm starting in this corner and working my way over. And then it'll be Pennsylvania and then Delaware, the first 3 states, if I remember correctly. So this I love. I love stitching letters. I find them very fast, very easy. I'm doing my own red, white, and blue selection. My red's DMC 150, my blue is 311, and my white is just DMC Blanc. And I have goodies for this. I have a bag that I made. I have floss drops and floss bling that came in my haul. So let's dive into that. So here's the bag that I made. One of the first 5 or 6 bags I made. So this is Lori Holt fabric. I purchased this fabric for one of my cross stitch finishes, and I had some left over, and I couldn't be happier. I made a nice big bag, fully lined using the Elizabeth Ann Can Stitch tutorial. I had this little button in my stash. Let's see if I can get it in the camera. Maybe right there. Little gold button. And I did put, even though it's not a project, I did put a year charm on it, 2025. So I can remember how many years it's going to take me to stitch One Nation. And some ivory ribbon. And it's quilted, it has batting. I love it so much. It's a nice big hearty size bag. So let me stick this project back in here. So that's my first bag. Yay! Oh, it gets better. It gets better. So my next bag, look at this. So I was inspired, you see it all over Instagram and other people's YouTubes, like Tiger Lily Design incorporates vintage linens in her work. Mrs. Jones Stitches, I believe her mother is Just Julie Sews. She also incorporates vintage linens. So this was a pillowcase that I cut to have the beautiful fabric. Let me bring it close. And then I use this Brenda Riddle fabric. And then just a piece of ribbon that I used, you can't really see in the camera, a decorative stitch on. Fully lined. I use the rest of the pillowcase to line the bag. This one I did not quilt. It has batting in it, but I did not quilt it. And then I just tied some ribbon on the zipper. I'm really happy with it, and I see more of these in my future. Somebody did a beautiful job on the cross stitch. So I did that one, but there's more. Now this one turned out kind of small. I had a little bit of this fabric and I was going to make 2 bags. This was one of the first ones on the drawing board, and the other bag didn't quite turn out right. I missed my lining on the inside. I mean, it's a totally functional bag, but the other bag, which I don't have because I put it in my Goodwill donate pile, like I didn't catch it here. And I wasn't going to take it apart to redo it. But this one has, the lining is a Beyond Bella. I believe this is a Michael Kaufman fabric I got on Etsy. This one is quilted. A little blue zipper with a pole. So it's a smaller project bag. I like them bigger, but I was trying to get 2 bags out of the fabric and I boogered one. And then I have just some beautiful rickrack. Now, what do you guys like? Do you like a big bag, a little bag, these fully lined bags, the original vinyl front bags, the patchwork bags? I like them all. I like them all. But the reason I'm asking is my husband's been really like, and my friends are like, you need to sell some of your stuff. And let me get a sip. I feel like the bag market's pretty saturated, and there's some very talented bag makers out there. From the ones I can think of, like Nancy the Disorderly Stitcher and Dot Dot Goose, to whoever the doll was that made that other bag I had that doesn't have a tag on it, so I don't even know who that is. But it doesn't mean that I don't bring my own point of view to the table, right? Because I definitely have my own point of view and how I like to decorate the bags and such. So tell me your thoughts. What do you think? Is there room for one more bag maker out there? Like a once a month drop of a handful of bags that are special? I am not interested in doing production sewing because, you know, I've done that in the past for a living. So that doesn't really float my boat and doesn't feed the creative juices. But I'm thinking like kind of like, and then I have some other ones I'll show you, kind of give you a feel. You know, things that are unique, kind of like a one-of-a-kind type theme. What are your thoughts? And also, can you share with me, does it matter to you? I know some bag makers talk about they use the bigger zippers, like the YKK zippers, which I don't have an example of one here, but they're a nicer, chunkier zipper with a bigger zipper pull. These are just regular Coates and Clark zippers, probably from Joann's or Walmart or wherever. You know, I buy them at the thrift store, estate sales, wherever I can get zippers at. Does that matter to you? Because if it matters, if that's important, then I would, you know, invest in a supply of those type of zippers. Or do you think it's not necessary as long as it, now see this one of my first ones, like it doesn't zip very smooth. This one, and it's not the zipper's fault, it's my fault. Because I was under the illusion that I needed to get my zipper foot like right up against that zipper, like right there tight was going to make the most beautiful, and it does look beautiful, but it just gently touches that fabric. It doesn't catch, it touches, so it slows the zipper down. So I learned after this one not to do that. Now I leave a little space between the zipper foot and the zipper, just a little bit. Everybody needs their own space. They can be close, they can be in love, but they don't have to be like. So anyway, what are your thoughts? Seriously, put them in the comment. I want to know. Because I don't want to like go down this rabbit hole thinking that I'm going to make, you know, some pocket money and then, you know, nobody likes what my point of view is or what I like. Now here's another one that I call my point of view. I love this. I think this was bag number 2 on the make list after the birthday bag. This was one of those tea towels I showed you, not a tea towel, a calendar towel. See, it has the 2020 on it. And down here it says Deb Strain, which is also a Moda Quilt Fabric designer. So it was one of hers. I cut the calendar part off, saved it. I just love this print. And then I cut off some more for the top part. I used some Magic Dot by Layla Boutique. It's turning out a little brickish orange here, but it's more like a deeper red. My lighting's not the greatest. And then, of course, just a regular zipper. See how smooth that one is? Because I learned, whoops, right there. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm going to make a liar out of me. Oh, you know what else I did? I also, Elizabeth's tutorial doesn't talk about like top stitching after you attach the zipper. I started top stitching and that made a difference. And then this one has foam in it, some soft and stable. So it's like really like, ooh, it could walk on its own. But that creates some bulk here. And so to be honest, I don't think I would do foam bags as my main jam. I wanted to try it out and see, because I do like a nice, you know, and it looks cool. But I also noticed it creates some bulk there by the zipper. But it still works. I mean, it's still, but it does hesitate a couple spots. So again, these are for me anyway, so it doesn't matter. I'm just showing you kind of like what I like to make. Nice big bag. Now they're getting better. I'm getting a little bit more creative. This one here. Ah, look at the pom-poms on it. So this was a quilt panel, or part of a quilt panel. I don't have it handy, the rest of it. It's like a big Santa quilt pattern, and this was supposed to be a pocket to hold your Christmas cards. And it had like some other accoutrements, like to make a hanging quilt. But I just cut this part off because I wanted to make a project bag. And this was part of the fabric line. And then this is some fabric leftover, fat quarter leftover from the Christmas quilt, the Star of Wonder quilt I made. So that was one of the fat quarters. And then I paired it with this beautiful bright pink zipper. Look at, I'm getting better. It's nice and smooth. I figured out the the distance. And then I lined it with some pretty white on white dot, Magic Dot fabric. And then I didn't think about adding the pom-pom trim until, and it has batting in it, until I was turning it out and I was sitting here and I was like looking this way. And I have you probably can't see it, it's in the corner here, little basket of pom-pom trim and lace and stuff. I was like, oh, pom-pom trim. It'll bring out the dots in here. So I just hand stitched this on. If I thought of it beforehand, I would have tucked it in the binding and attached it that way. But it's hand stitching it on was just fine too. I love it so much. I can't wait to put something in it. So what do you think? Do you love it too? This one, I don't know. Probably my favorite one. And this is what I'm talking about, like my point of view, like how I did it. Like, I don't know. I mean, I'm not reinventing the wheel, but it's not like your normal like bag you see every day. So I'm sure I've seen somebody else do this. I want to say I saw, and I could be wrong, Barbara John's stitching grandma, or grandma stitching, oh shoot, I'll look it up. But you know who I'm talking about, stitching with grandma. She used to put out a lot of Flosstube videos, like movie length Flosstube videos. And I loved watching them, but then like, I guess life kind of took over and she's been doing some other things. So she hasn't been very active on Flosstube. But so I took a Stitching with the Housewives canvas bag and I cut it in half so I could just use the front. And then I had a lot of this jelly roll I bought, a couple of these from Walmart, and I guess they're not truly jelly rolls, they're not Moda fabrics, but you know, whatever, you know what I'm talking about, the 2.5-inch strips. And I laid it on an angle on purpose. That way I didn't have to worry about getting it perfectly squared up. And I just started going around and around, sewed it right to quilt batting, put a piece of fabric on the back and quilted it. Used one of the jelly rolls for the top of the bag, And then I put some orange rickrack on there and used orange thread to tack it down. And then I didn't have a black zipper that was big enough, but I thought the gray looked just fine since some of the fabric has gray. And then what did I put on the inside? Oh, stitching with the housewives for the lining on one side and then this on the other side because I didn't have enough stitching with the housewives to do the whole thing. So this turned out gorgeous, and it's like really nice and big. I mean, when I say big, it is probably 13.5 wide by 15.5. So it's a big boy, big girl. So like I could stuff like either all my Halloween projects in there, all my stitching with the housewives projects. I just love it so much. Then, if that was not enough, so YouTube like picked up on the fact that I was watching the Elizabeth Ann video like over and over because I didn't want to screw it up. I didn't want to mess up my fabric. So I just like each time I made a bag, like because I wasn't assembling line it, I was like, do this, flip, 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 stop, pause, whatever. So then it suggested Tiger Lily. Carrie had a video and I'm so glad it did because I tried her technique last night. So her technique was for using charms, mini charms. And so this bag's not done yet. I just started it last night. And you know, I have a bunch of mini charms because not every time they're on flash sale, but if they're on flash sale and I'm purchasing something else, I will throw a mini charm in my basket. So I had actually 2 of these. So I purposely bought this one because I love Brenda Riddle's fabric. This one's called Grace. Yeah, Grace. So I have a second one of these. And Carrie suggested to get a piece of poster board. And so this is a piece of poster board that I cut. You know, it's not full size. And then grid out your 2.5-inch squares. By doing that, then you can take your fusible and lay the fusible sticky side up on here. So then, and I'll insert a picture. I mean, I'm sure you've seen it. Again, I'm not recreating the wheel, but it was just genius because I'd never seen it before. And then you can lay out your squares on your fusible. You can see the outline through the fusible because then you didn't have to buy pre-gridded fusible, which they do have online somewhere, someone. I don't know who, but I got this at Walmart when I was out at Walmart last night. So I can get my poster board into my fusible. So it was really affordable and I can just reuse this board. And then I laid out my charms and then I gently slid the poster board out from underneath of it. And then I started pressing. And I have 2 things I use when I press. Let me grab them. Just to make sure I didn't get fusible on my iron. I have, and I don't know what these are called, but I got this from the quilt store many years ago. It feels like plastic, but it's heat resistant. You use it when you do applique quilting so you don't get fusible on your iron. So you can lay everything out, press it, move it. So I used that when I first started pressing to make sure I didn't glue on my iron. Then I got out just a piece of scrap fabric afterwards and then did the same thing and just kind of held it longer just to make sure that glue really set up and everything adhered. And because I had extra, I made the fusible bigger than this. I now have quilt batting on it, but at that time I didn't. I just had the fusible. And it's, you know, it's handmade, so nothing's ever perfect. But darn, it's pretty darn close. A lot faster and a lot easier than stitching all these together. And then I went back and I laid a piece. Oh, what did you do now? What did I do now? Oh, then, and again, go to watch somebody's video, but then you fold them, you stitch, you fold them, you stitch. And I've seen it before, but how Carrie did it was she didn't worry about trimming that afterwards. She just ironed them all the same way and then started folding it the other way and stitch fold the other way. So they're all, so all your exposed seams are caught in the seam allowance. Then I added a piece of batting and then I went back and quilted the top. Love it, perfection. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me. But again, I know that you've probably seen this, but just in case you didn't, I just want to kind of like plant that seed there. If you haven't seen this, go see Carry On Tiger Lily. So this bag here is going to have, so that was I got that done last night, and then I got the top that goes above the zipper. This is not part of the same fabric line, but it is a piece of Brindle Riddle, and it coordinates very nicely. I had it left over from a project. So this will be my top on my bag like this. And I have a pretty pink zipper I'm going to put in there. And I have the same fabric for the back of the bag that I haven't quilted yet. So maybe tonight I'll quilt this. Probably not tonight because I have something I want to share with you that I'm going to be doing tonight. But next time I get a chance, I'll quilt this. And then I'll put this bag together. And I will share it with you next time to show you what a pretty bag. I'm really excited. And I do have all these charms, so I'm excited to try this again. In my humble opinion, I made a cute reel. So if you don't follow me on Instagram, I'm not prolific on Instagram. I don't post a lot, but if you get a chance, go over. I thought I did a super cute video on the bags after I was done. I was all pumped up and excited, and there's a little, and I just love how I queued it up with the music with my husband, a couple pictures of my husband in there. But anyway, one of the questions he asked me when I was showing him all my bags, you know, he's like, oh, are these for sale? I'm like, no, they're all for me. And then he's like, how many bags do you need? I'm like, oh, my friend, that is not a question we talk about. I need as many bags as I need. But anyway, so yeah, go check me out on Instagram if you want. I think the video turned out cute. So that's the bag making portion of the video. Yay, I did it. I did it. I did it. I'm so excited. I've been talking about it forever, and I've just made the time. The next thing I want to share with you guys that I've been stitching on is this. So you know the fair's fast approaching. I have to have my entry in by this week. I don't know the exact date. I got to look it up online. It's on my to-do list. And so now I'm like in full panic mode, like trying to get projects done. Like all the main projects are done. Like the quilts that I'm going to enter, the cross stitch I'm going to enter. But now there's like some of those smaller categories where I'm like, ooh, maybe I can like do something in this category. But anyway, so I saw this. And if I can remember the name, I'll look it up online. It's a person on Instagram that I love their reels. She's always posting like these type of projects, and then this is just a placemat. So here is my version of that started. Let me show you. So I'm working on quilting it now, and then I got to trim down the backing. So I think it's pretty cute. This is from a fat quarter bundle called Jingle Bells by Lindsay, I can't see him, Wilkes, W-I-L-K-E-S, O'Reilly Blake, say that 3 times fast, fabric. And I fussy cut one of the fat quarters. I fussy cut some of the prints out. This one I really like a lot. And then a snowman. So I can have a set of 4 placemats. And then the rest of that fat quarter bundle, if I could, I cut out for English paper piecing the rest of the fussy cut items. And then here is the fat quarter bundle. So it's kind of messy because I've been picking at it. So there's a lot left because I'm just using strips. And literally, I am, you know, it's a create your own adventure. There is no pattern. So I just use the dimensions of the fussy cut piece as my starting point. And so here's where I started, and this is the first piece I attached. And then I started going around and around and around and around. And I cut my strips 1.5. And so with the seam allowance, they're finishing, you know, 1 inch. And then I'm not sure if I wrote it down. If I did, I don't have it in front of me. Oh, I do. I wrote it on here. My placemats are going to be 14 by 18. I Googled There's two different sizes that are pretty traditional, but 14 by 18 is a little bit bigger size. And so I thought I would go with that. So if I could get these done, probably not. This could go in the fair in the placemat category. There is a category called placemats, but it doesn't specify how many. Do I need 2? Do I need 4? I don't know. I need to send an email. 2 is doable. 2 I could get done. 4 I probably can't. And then there's a category called placemat and napkin, and I did that category last year and got a ribbon. So, but I'm not sure how I would do a napkin. I definitely could use one of these fat quarters, but who knows? Anyway, that's where I'm at. That's what I was working on. Lots and lots of fun. Highly recommend it. I will look that up and put that like somewhere if I haven't already on the bottom who this Instagrammer is that has the cutest reels, cutest little projects she works on. And speaking of cute projects, I picked this up, and this segues so nice into the haul video. I picked this up a while ago, and it's a panel with pennants on it. And the fabric line is called, what's it called? It's called Red, White, and Bloom by Kimberbell. And I have a table topper that I did with this fabric 2 years ago, maybe. So maybe this fabric's about 2 years old. And this was at the thrift store a while back for next to nothing. And I was like, oh, I recognize that fabric. So I think I'm going to make this little bunting. Here, let me show you what it's kind of. Let me fold it and show you the little picture. Because the pattern, I mean, there's really no pattern. You just fold the fabric in half, stitch it on something, hang it up. It's a little bunting. So I was thinking we have like this window in the wall. It's not a window like with glass window, but like a pass-through between the living room and the kitchen of our house. And so I thought this would look so cute hanging in that, primarily on the kitchen side. I'd hang it on the kitchen side, but you would see it from the living room as well, because this placemat is on the table, or not this placemat, this table topper fabric is on the table. I thought, oh, wouldn't that be fun and whimsy? So that is on my list of things I want to do. Yay. So then let's talk about haul. Yay. I got lots of it. No surprise there, right? Well, that's because I went thrifting. And I joined a new club. And it's fun to get new things. So speaking of, let's see. I want to talk about, see, this is where my notes come in handy. My next video, I want to know what you would like to see. So the little reel, not a reel, like a little short video I did of me when I took you thrift store shopping with me. You kind of spent the Saturday with me. We went thrift store shopping. We went to the car wash. We went out to eat, those kinds of things. You guys loved it. Like, you guys were so kind and positive. Like, and then like even people that I don't really know like that well, that I don't interact with a lot. Like Stacy from Bluebird Paper and Craft, she's like, I would love to go thrifting with you. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And a lot of other people said that too. Even my mom commented, and I think she only liked it because it was a short video, because she's not into crafting, but she always watches my videos because she's like my #1 fan. She's like, I really liked your short video. I was like, whatever. But would you like my next non-traditional floss tube? Choice A is another like thrifting type video with me, because I do have in my stash here a shop hop magazine, and I've never done a shop hop, and there's at least 2 stores in my area that I could go to shop hop, and then there is one antique store that I didn't take you guys to that's larger that I haven't been to in a very long time. I used to be a vendor there, and so like some things that I used to do in my previous life 10 years ago, like I'm kind of getting back into, because those memories and wounds and, you know, that time in my life, it doesn't bring sadness anymore. Now it brings back joy. And so like, I want to do that stuff again. So would you like that type of video again? Or would you like, I've noticed that a lot of people, and I like these videos, the mid-year whip parade. And I could show you all my whips And then that might give you some project ideas or patterns that you might like to work on, some inspiration. You tell me what you'd like to do. I'll probably do both again sometime in the future. But what about my next one? What do you guys want to see? Because I'm happy to do whichever. Because the whole reason, well, not the whole reason, I do it because I love doing this and I find it a lot of fun. I was thinking about this all day. I knew when I got off work today I was going to get to do this, and that was like kind of cool and kind of fun. And then I also do it because like you guys comment and you let me know that you like it, and that like makes me happy that I'm bringing happiness to you. And so I wanted to do something that you want to see. But anyway, I'm just rambling now. So let me share my haul. So it's not separated by whatever, it's just like a mixed bag. So I'm going to just show you everything, kind of share with you where I got it from and this and that. This here, I noticed as it's been sitting here, is super dirty, which does not surprise me because of where I got it. New in package, one of the big Mama Jamma sticky boards, 16 by 20. And goodness knows, after doing all that finishing for the fair, that I need more sticky board. I got this for $5. This was at a mission store that is between my house and where my son is at. And I was like, well, let me stop. I've got 5 minutes. Let me stop on my way back home. And I'm glad I did, because I got a couple things there and that was one of them. So there's that. I got some Jelly Roll batting. This looks different than the batting I bought before. But a Jelly Roll rug batting, because I do want to try, and I'm not going to try, I'm going to make another Jelly Roll. I got my bedroom painted over the weekend. I was talking to my friend Kelly. We were texting back and forth, and I was showing her, I was like, okay, this is what I'm doing over the weekend. Just like bag making. I've been talking about painting my room for 6, 7, 8 years. How long have we lived in this house and my bedrooms needed painted? So I bit the bullet. I did it. It looks great. So now it's time to refresh with new quilt. And I want to do a new rug in there. So I want to make my own Jelly Roll rug. So my last Jelly Roll rug was pretty, but I got some waves going on in it. So I'm going to try again. I'm going to keep trying until I get good at them, because I think they're beautiful and I want to make a bunch of them. And maybe with the whole bag making, maybe that could be something I could put in my Etsy store as well as some Jelly Roll rugs. I was also thinking about some vintage finds that kind of tie into like small home decor, vintagey, just my kind of vibe. Because I love that. I used to be a power seller on eBay. I used to have my own store in town. I had booths at different antique malls. I mean, that was like my jam for a lot of years, was like that vintage vibe. And so maybe if I can combine that with my love of sewing and repurposing, and maybe that could be just like my little hobby job, where I get to play with fabric, play with vintage things, have fun, and maybe make $1 or $2 so I can keep buying more fabric and more thread and more patterns. Please let me know your thoughts. Let me know. What do you think? So speaking of fabric, I got this. A layer cake from Riley Blake, or a 10-inch stacker is what they call them. I got it from the Fat Quarter shop. I will insert a picture here what the Fat Quarter bundle looks like, since I still have it in plastic wrap and it's kind of hard to see the fabric. I typically only buy this stuff like when it's on sale, and this is a newer one. I won't open it because it's all crinkly. But it just caught my eye. 2 reasons. One, like the fabrics and the horses make me think of like preppy equestrian girl, which makes me think of my granddaughter Lilith. Like, she just loves all farm animals and stuff. But I was like, I even said to Abby, I go, Lilith doesn't need another quilt, does she? She's like, no, Lilith does not need another blankie, another quilt, another anything. She has everything, because Abby's a quilter. And then I showed Abby the fabric and she was like, oh, she would love that. And I'm like, I know. So I'm thinking either this would be a great like layer cake pattern, like a layer cake loop pattern, free pattern from Fat Quarter shop, where you don't lose They're bigger pieces so you don't lose the patterns, the detail of the fabric, and either make it for myself, even though I don't need another one, or maybe one to sell. But I would need to get more. This is called Bluegrass Charm by Melissa Mortensen, and I can't get enough of this fabric. I think it's gorgeous. I'm going to be buying some yardage. I just need to decide, is it for me or is it maybe to sell? Who knows? Then clubs. Here, this I've been dying to open. This one I wanted to open. I joined, again, you click on one thing on social media like Instagram, or you pause a moment too long, and that AI, it picks up that you like it, and like then it just keeps feeding you that every time you log in. And so I must have slowed down on AccuFactum's Willow Cottage Quilt Co. Reel or something. And then I was like, do I or do I not? And I did. I signed up for a little fat quarter bundle, a mystery, so you don't know what you're going to get. And these fabrics are from Germany, and they're a high quality fabric. So this is this month's theme. Little blues. Moths or butterflies. And a stripe. Now, I'll be honest with you. This is one of my favorite colors, but this did not rock my world. It just didn't do it for me. I'm not huge on birdies, but the fabric's pretty. It is a very, you can just feel the quality of the fabric. It's going to be a dream to work with. But I'm going to stick with the club because one of the reasons, and I haven't explored it yet, let me hold them up while I talk, how pretty. They are pretty. There's just not quite my jam. They are more of, excuse me, their fabric line is more of a watercolor whimsy kind of fabric line, if that makes sense. And each month's going to be different. And they said they will not repeat one of the main prints from the previous years, which I don't have the previous years, so that wouldn't have made a difference to me, but that's good for people who are still with the club. And what they do have, though, is a website, once you join the club, where there's projects for you, ideas and patterns to use your fat quarters. So I thought that was genius, because how many times do you buy fabric that you love and you're just like, okay, what do I do with it now? What am I going to do? Like, I mean, I think I have a lot of ideas for patterns, but sometimes when you have these smaller, like you only have 4 pieces. So it's not like you're going to make a quilt out of this. But they have some like creative little bags, some little zipper totes, some, I don't know what, because I really haven't explored it. So that to me is making the pattern club the fabric club worthwhile, because it's kind of like a pattern club too. So I'm curious to see what next month brings. Yeah, so that's that. I'm excited about that. So check it out if you're interested. Oh, the dogs are barking. Apologize. I will edit that out because that is so annoying. This pattern here, Pollinator's Garden. I saw this on, here, let me pull it out so you don't get the glare. I saw this on Black Coffee and Grits, Lisa's Flosstube. It's Lisa, right? Yeah, it's Lisa. And she did this pillow, and I want to say she did it on a 14 count Aida, and it was ginormous. And I was like, oh, that's what I stitch on. When this, like, I'm picturing it on the bench in my living room. And it looks like, I mean, it's a big stitch, but it looks like a quick stitch because you just do each little motif. And so, you know, she made me order it. It's her fault. It wasn't even on my radar, but I was just like, it was a really nice pillow. Like, she made it into a pillow herself, and it turned out super nice. Then I got some of this stuff. Let me open it because I'm curious to see what it looks like. So I saw this on that video I was telling you about last time. The lady who has the sewing machine, and she takes it to her off-grid cabin in New York, and she does all kinds of cool stuff. She has an old featherweight. I think it's a featherweight, and like hers is like hand cranked. There's no power because she's off grid. And she uses these to make string quilts, which I've never made, but I started collecting my scraps here. I guess there's no way to open this without destroying the box. So they're called parchment patty paper. They're 6x6, and the idea is for hamburger patties. So let me just, because I don't want to make a mess of them. So they're just a nice size of paper for you to stitch on. For instance, so I've been saving some scraps that are kind of, so here, this is from the project bag. So what she would do is, well, I guess she does hers, I don't know, like on the bias, on an angle. So kind of like I did the placemat. So keep going, add another one, keep going. I'm not being very whatever here, showing you. And then you have it all filled up, and then you would trim it up, and then you could make it, I guess, 5.5 by 5.5, like a charm square. And then you would save these, and you'd, you know, gather them and collect them for however long, for me, through the years or whatever. So I'm not like always sewing, just feels like it sometimes. And then you would have these blocks. You can rip the paper off. She recommended leaving the paper on until you were ready to sew them together into your quilt or your project to kind of stabilize them so the fabric doesn't get stretched out on the bias. And then you know, it's just another way of using up your scraps. So I thought that was awesome. And I'm going to keep it right here in this basket as a reminder. That's what I want to do with them. I got this at the thrift store. Yay, some spray adhesive. Like, you get some bargains. Like, you can get some cool stuff, but you can also get some good craft bargains at the thrift store. This is not the kind of stuff I'm talking about selling online, like half-used random stuff. I'm talking about like some cool stuff. Then I also have, okay, this is part of my vintage shopping day. And I washed it because it was really dirty. So this is, it looks like it reminds me of like a sewing machine drawer, but I don't think it is. At first I thought maybe it was like a reproduction to look like something old, but I really think it is old or older because it's got good craftsmanship. It's dovetailed. And it was pretty gritty. Somebody put some green stain on it. There must have been a label of some sort there that's come off. Somebody stenciled the number 15 on there. And it has a knob, and the hardware on the inside of the knob is pretty rusty, so maybe it is older. But I thought this would look really cool to either hold some pillow finishes or just to store stuff in. So this I love. So this is the kind of vintagey things that I'm thinking about, like collecting and then reselling. On the smaller side, easy to ship. I would look for actual vintage sewing machine drawers to repurpose in this way, because I think they'd be super cool to put your small pillows in, or display in, or to hold things in your craft room. Let me know what you think in the comments. Okay. So shop hop. I have never done shop hop. Have you done shop hop? So apparently shop hop is like really popular, and I got the book at my quilt store. I think I shared with you in my video that I had to stop in there to pick it up. And then I guess each area has like its own line of fabric. Oops. Santa Claus is not here. That is our Ring camera's backdoor alarm. The grandkids like Santa Claus, so I left on Santa Claus. So let me show you the fabric that's for Pennsylvania. Well, I guess it's not for Pennsylvania, it's for the Mid-Atlantic area, which includes Pennsylvania. I would love to get my hands on that panel. If my store has it, I'm going to grab one. And then the book is really neat. It has like all these stores that, of course, I don't know anything about. And it's just a wealth of information, and it has patterns in it. And it sounds like really a lot of fun. So I'm going to give it a try. So like I said, I have at least 2 stores I know of in my area that I could go to easily without really traveling. If you want me to do the whole shop hop with some vintage shopping for a video, or if you'd rather see a wood parade, just let me know. So I'm excited about that. I also printed online for you guys. This is a free pattern for, I think it's for this month, from Primrose Cottage. Very pretty. So if that's something you're interested in, please go to their website. And if you're not signed up for the newsletter, please do, because you get lots of freebies. And I do use doilies. I'm showing my age. I do use them sometimes in my decor around the house for different things. Don't judge. I think they're beautiful. But I'm thinking of using these crazy quilts or project bags or all kinds of things. So pretty blue. I got a couple of pink ones here that are rectangular in shape. I got this mystery bundle here. I didn't even open it. I don't even know what's in it. Let's see what's in it. Are they napkins? Are they... Oh, they're like those little armchair doilies, so like you don't booger up your furniture. They're okay. They're not the greatest, but they're okay. I mean, when I say not the greatest, it's not like I'm not in love with the pattern. Oh, okay, so here's okay, that's probably for your chair. So there's probably one for each arm. Oh, the zip tie thing's holding it together. Price tag. Then here's one that probably goes behind your head that flips over your little chair. So I think these would look super pretty on a bag, maybe. Yeah, neat. And then I got, okay, this I picked up at that first vintagey store I went to that was kind of primitive. I believe, based on the feel and of this fabric, that it is an authentic piece of vintage fabric. I no expert, so I don't know, but I got it. I am gonna soak it. I haven't washed it yet. I wanted to show it to you before I did, in case it disintegrates, but I'm gonna soak it, and I thought that would make a lovely project of some sort. It doesn't smell bad, but it's definitely got that vintage vibe to it. It's got some staining, so I'm thinking some OxyClean might pull that out to either use as a big piece in a project or cut up and use in other projects. I don't know if that's feed sackcloth or what that is. Definitely need to educate myself on some textiles, but I thought it was so cool. I also got this piece of fabric from them. This one I still have a price tag on. Let me pull that off. This one was $3. It's just an older piece of soft fabric. I think it's already been washed. It may be a woven. Thought that was pretty. I think it's a woven. I don't think it's a quilting cotton. It's got a lot of stretch to it. I got this little at one of the stores. Oh, I can't wait to use this in something. An old sugar bag. These are 3 pieces. I got this from the quilt store when I picked up my Shop Hop book. I'll pull the tags off them. Were they yard? No, that I say that. They were each a yard of Lori Holt fabric. So this is super pretty. That's a yard. This one's a half a yard. And this one is also, feels like a half a yard. I don't see the sticker on it. So I can't wait to work with those fabrics. I'll add them to my, I don't know if I like calling it stash or supplies or I don't know. I feel like I need a word for it. I really was grateful when I was making all these bags and just kind of improvising. I was just like pulling stuff from my shelves, and that was such a good feeling to be like, okay, I know I want a black, or I want this, or I want that theme, to have, you know, the pieces there to play with and to pull from. And then I have a stack over here of everything I pulled off the shelf, and after I cut it and worked with it, I just threw it in a basket, and then I'll go through and you know, refold it on my little boards and put it back up there. I found that very enjoyable. And then I also got from that store, that primitive store, they had some wovens that they sold by the strip, like 50 cents. And so I just got a couple strips. I thought these would be super cute to either cut up and tie on to cross stitch finishes or use it on something. This one especially, I was thinking about my birthday start from like 2 years ago, the Cottage Garden Squirrel. One of the inspiration pieces I cut out of or printed off Instagram or something was like this real messy bow, and it looked like they used woven fabric and made ribbon strips. So I was thinking that might work for that. I got this from this little secondhand thrifty type store not far from my house. So it's a spool of nylon ribbon, not like cotton or high quality, but it's really pretty. And there's a whole spool of it, and it was in plastic. I took it out of the plastic, so it's like clean and beautiful, and it's going to be perfect to use on projects. I got another one of these doilies in the blue. I got some tried and true Ada from the thrift store, $2.99. Always re-dye it. 2 pieces here, 14 count. And then, oh, we're not done yet, folks. Got a couple more things. So here's another mini charm to add to my collection. Starberry. I feel like I showed you this one. I apologize if I did. I'll insert a picture of what it is here so you can see it. It's Corey Yoder. I feel like I showed you this as well, and if I did, I apologize. But this you got free from Fat Quarter Shop. If you spent whatever XYZ dollars, you got a free lighthearted charm pack with a purchase. So I did that. And then I have 3 more items. So to go with my One Nation, and if you didn't see, somebody, thank you so much, somebody pointed out on my video to me, Be a Blessing. Oh, what's her name? Did I have it? Diane on Be a Blessing. Just finished and had her One Nation framed. And my chair keeps going lower and lower. Let me fix it. I'm like disappearing throughout the video. I'm like, I feel like I'm like really low. Anyway, her video, oh, I was just like, yes, it was so pretty. Thank you for pointing that out to me. I'm so glad you mentioned it. I did go find that video so I could watch it. But anyway, I got these for my One Nation, for my floss. Some little floss drops. They're just a variety of little patriotic ones. Got these off of Etsy. Let me tell you who the seller is. If I can find it in this pile of nonsense. Oh, here it is. So they're small. They're little squares, which I don't have any like this, but I love that they have multiple holes. So I have a hole for the top for my ring, and it did come with a little wire ring, and then for my full floss and my little strands. So I'm looking forward to trying these, and they're just, they're like a printed cardboard. They're beautiful. And then I got some floss bling from, oh, look at, they've even put my name on the tag. And this is from, who's the seller on this? This was an Etsy seller. Oh, and the person that sent me the floss drops also gave you a project bag tag, which I thought was very kind. Here, maybe her card is in this little bag for my floss bling. Okay. Package very, very nice. This is going to be for my One Nation. Isn't that just beautiful? She did such a nice job. And this is from Sweet Autumn Stitch on Etsy. And I mean, and look, it was packaged on one of these cards, which was in a bag, which was in a little sheer bag. I forget what these are called, and then which was in a bubble wrap. And then it looks like she also sent me like a little bonus freebie charm. Looks like a bicycle. Let me open it to be sure. Which, gosh, people are just so kind and generous. Yes, a little bicycle. And then the last thing, I think I got at just a Goodwill. And this is a Hobby Lobby box that I got for like $1 or $2. And it's a little bank. I'm thinking I'm going to use this because I've been looking at the featherweight shop and doing a little bit of research on the featherweights, and I think I would like to invest in one. I think I'd like to get one. I like the idea. My daughter was just like, oh, you got sewing machines, just take one of those to the campground. Take one of the smaller ones you bought for the granddaughters, take that to the camping ground. But I'm thinking that I want a nice little featherweight because they're cool looking. I hear they stitch magnificently, and I think that would be the perfect little travel sewing machine. So, and they are kind of spicy price wise, so I think I need a little piggy bank. So I am going to save, thus my husband encouraging me to make a few things to sell so I can save up and buy that little machine. Because I think I definitely want to get like a grade, they're graded, like grade 7, grade 8, blah, blah, blah. So that's kind of like, they're gonna work perfectly fine. Those grades maybe have a little imperfections in the paintwork and stuff. So I'm looking at probably my first one, like an entry-level 7 or 8. That's gonna be run like a beauty. It's gonna be fully serviced. I'm gonna buy it from the featherweight shop because it'll be serviced and guaranteed and all that jazz. But maybe the decals may not be pristine, and that's okay because it's gonna, for me, it's gonna be a travel machine, and so it's gonna get used and dinged up. So I probably need at least $1,200. So, so I got a long way to go. But we all need dreams and goals and things to work towards, and so that's mine. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I apologize in advance if I don't fully edit out the dog barking or my ramblings, but I will try to edit some of that out so you don't have to listen to it all. Thank you so much for joining me. Please don't forget to leave in the comments what your thoughts are on the bag making, the next video you would like, the dog barking again, my dreams of a new sewing machine, one person that I started to watch today. Oh, and I wanted to mention, I need to wrap this up, and I want to mention a club that I joined. So the new Flosstuber that I'm not through and I started watching today and I'm in love is Janet, my mother's daughter, KY, Kentucky. And I think it says, hello y'all, or hi y'all, or something is the title of her video, Flosstube 1. She had me at, she's a Gen Xer, like me, and then she had on one of the Trash Panda, the raccoon t-shirts, like red, white, and blue, like peace sign. And like, I just love those little raccoon t-shirts that are popular right now. So I haven't watched all of her video. I've just watched the very beginning. I love her so much. If you haven't checked her out, that's worth a watch. And then the other thing I want to tell you about and why I got to scoot off of here is because there's a meeting I want to attend tonight. I joined like a virtual club, quilt guild. I'm not sure what you want to call it. It's called the Quilting Circle. You may have seen it on YouTube. It's by Tammy Ernest. I hope I'm saying her last name right. And she has a YouTube where she's a long-arm quilter, and she shares with you the quilts that she's worked on, the quilts that she's long-armed, but she also shares with you her customers' quilts and the details about them, which is really interesting and neat to see because you get a really good variety of projects because everyone has different tastes and everyone has, you know, different likes and skill levels, and it's just really nice to watch. Anyway, she has a private club that she opens twice a year, called the Quilt Circle, and I joined it. So it recently opened and I joined it, and July is my first month, and I got to go to the introduction night for new members, and then the next night was the monthly meeting, which I couldn't make on Zoom. And then tonight is the guest speaker, and everything's recorded except for, of course, like the sit and stitches, and the guest speakers are not recorded. So I definitely want to catch the guest speaker tonight. I want to be a participating member. It's a super nice group of ladies. I have the app on my phone, so I see the posts come in all day long. I haven't really posted much, but like I said, I do want to participate and contribute to the community. And I'm really excited about that. So if that's something you're interested in, that might be something to look into in the fall when she reopens it up again. I will keep you posted on what my thoughts are. If I feel like it's a great club, I'm sure it's going to be, and a great value. And I'd also be curious if you guys belong to any guilds in your area, or virtual ones or online, and what's been your experience. I really enjoyed like attending. I've never been to a retreat, but I did enjoy attending the Jingle Ball the couple times I've gone. But the group is so big, and sometimes I just don't know how to participate when there's like all these people. I know it might be hard to believe, but actually I'm an introverted person. I am shy in big crowds. I find my groove and shine the best in smaller one-on-one type settings. Or this one where the feedback is after the fact. And so anyway, I'd love to hear about what your experience has been. I hope I brought you a little joy and happiness, a little inspiration, and I hope that you have a fantastic week, cross-stitching, sewing, quilting, loving on your family, all the things that you love to do. Until next time, bye.